Donald Trump is panicking right now, and not because he just lost his lapdog Attorney General Matt Gaetz after he backed out due to his ethics scandal.
Holy shit, I didn't see that coming.
Oh.
I mean, yes, he was the ultimate troll, but I just heard something. I heard that Trump is going to issue a new silver dollar to commemorate that. So I think that's going to be the next cycle.
But rather, because shockingly to absolutely everyone, probably including themselves, Democrats finally decided to pick themselves up by their ball sacks.
I've said it before and I'll say it again. Republicans are playing chess and the Democrats are in the nurse's office because they glued their balls to their thigh.
And actually take a page out of the Republican playbook and fight back. And while most of their recent attempts to fight back have essentially looked like this,
my guy, I think you picked the wrong show to grow up with. You should have picked Star Wars, because then at least you could have summoned the Force to help you against this guy.
this most recent act is finally an example of becoming the resistance and fighting back. So what is this move that finally has Trump hypocritically on his heels? Well, to answer that, we need only take a look back at one of the shiftiest moves in recent American politics from man-tortoise Mitch McConnell.
Did you hear the question, Senator? Running for re-election in 2026? All right, I'm sorry, you all. We're going to need a minute.
No, not him retreating into his metaphysical shell a few years back, but before that, when he packed the courts with conservative judges and refused to give Obama's Supreme Court pick, Merrick Garland, even a hearing, because, well...
Remember when President Obama nominated Merrick Garland to the Supreme Court? Senate Majority Leader Mitch McConnell refused to give that a vote, saying, well, it's only one full year before the election. It's too close.
I simply ask Republicans in the Senate to give him a fair hearing, and then an up or down vote. If you don't, then it will not only be an abdication of the Senate's constitutional duty, it will indicate a process for nominating and confirming judges that is beyond repair.
Let's let the American people decide.
Within minutes, Republican Majority Leader Mitch McConnell said no.
Only to then go ahead and do this.
Smash cut 2 months before a presidential election. Trump nominates Amy Coney Barrett to the Supreme Court after the completely unforeseeable death of Ruth Bader Ginsburg. And as you can imagine, the Democrats went right to the nearby Kinko's.
Behind me is the McConnell rule. On February 13th, 2016, when Justice Scalia passed away, Senator McConnell said, and I quote, "This vacancy should not be filled until we have a new president."
And so Amy Coney Barrett was forced to head back to her homestead, never to be heard from they didn't give a oh!
And while the Supreme Court is still supremely and likely will remain that way for generations to come, the Democrats still have control of the Senate for a month and a half, and Chuck Schumer and Amy Klobuchar were thankfully taking full advantage of that fact well past midnight this morning, ramming through judges like an auctioneer on a mission to earn the commission of his life.
I have 8 requests for committees to meet during today's session of the Senate. They have the approval of the majority and minority leaders.
Duly noted.
And finally, I ask unanimous consent that when the Senate completes its business today, it stand adjourned under the provisions of SRES 902 until 10 a.m. on Thursday, November 21. That following the prayer and pledge, the journal of proceedings be approved to date, the morning hour be deemed expired, the time for the 2 leaders be reserved for their use in the day, and morning business be closed. Following the conclusion of morning business, the Senate proceed to executive session to resume consideration of the Wise nomination. Further, that at 11 a.m. the Senate vote on the cloture motions with respect to the Wise and Weilheimer nominations in the order listed. Further, that the following the cloture vote on the Weilheimer nomination, the Senate resume consideration of the Desai nomination, and that the Senate vote on the confirmation of the Desai nomination at 1:45 p.m. Finally, that if any nominations are confirmed during Thursday's session, the motions to reconsider be considered made laid upon the table, and the President be immediately notified of the Senate's action.
Without objection, so ordered. The Senate is adjourned.
And I know that was wildly exhilarating and sexy, so you may have missed the fact that that was Democrats confirming Biden's 220th federal court appointment, and they're hoping to add more to that number before the Thanksgiving holiday. And unsurprisingly, this sent Donald Trump into an absolute tizzy, with him writing on actual Twitter, now that he's butt buddies with the biggest baby to ever become a billionaire, Elon Musk, "The Democrats are trying to stack the courts with radical left judges on their way out the door. Republican senators need to show up and hold the line. No more judges confirmed before Inauguration Day." And my biggest gripe with Democrats, as I'm sure is all of yours, has always been that they do not play by the same rules as Republicans. Hell, they're not even playing on the same field. So I think it's time that we demand them to fight back, and this should be the absolute bare minimum we ask of them, because we We cannot beat a bunch of neo-fascists by resigning ourselves to being the big kid at the table and playing within the established norms of political decency, and when they go low, we go high. That has never worked and needs to be thrown out like the filibuster if we even stand a chance of repairing the damage to this country that is to come.
Because they don't give a about your norms. They will exploit any loophole, even if they have to go through clearly closed windows to do it.
So smash that like button if you agree, subscribe to join the resistance, and for Really American, I'm Kenny Hesse, and God willing, I'll see you in the next one.